Football is back, come on! And so is Kepa. Oh, what? What's on today's menu? 4 names back in contention for Liverpool, but does that include Alisson? Updates on BRUYNE and Aguero, and who's managed to come back unscathed from the international break. This is the Fantasy Football Cheat Sheet, where we give you up-to-date injury news, predicted lineups, who to transfer in, and loads more, and all from official sources. Let's head straight to Liverpool for the headline news. Ahead of the Merseyside derby, Sadio Mane and Thiago are back. As Roy Keane would say, Liverpool were sloppy against Villa 2 weeks ago, and these player returns are much needed. Jordan Henderson played a part in 2 England games during the break, which means he's set to start over the weekend as well. The Reds really do miss their skipper, don't they? But now it's time for the bad news, and brace yourselves. Alisson is set to miss the weekend's game and the rest of the month. It means an extended run in the side for Adrian, who despite looking pretty terrible 2 weeks ago, could actually be a cheap fantasy pick in what is still the best defence in the league. Come on. Keep an eye on the Joe Gomez situation as well. After his woeful display against Villa, we can't rule out a return for Joel Matip or Fabinho at centre-half. Who do you think should play at the back? Let us know in the comments. Just as Chelsea sort things out at the back, registering their first clean sheet of the season, Mendy goes and injures himself on Senegal international duty. Come on, lad. Although it's not a bad injury, he is set to miss out in game week 5. Danny Ings will be licking his lips as you-know-who returns in sticks. Ironically, playing Senegal this week as well was Morocco. And who's their best player? Romain Saïs. No, I'm joking. It's Hakim Ziyech. The wide man came off the bench for his first appearance since Brighton at the beginning of the season, and it only took him 25 minutes to register an assist too. He'll be back in Frank's squad, as will likely be Pulisic and Chilwell. They've all been pictured training this week. That suddenly looks like a very tasty front 3, doesn't it? Man United next, and Jadon Sancho looks like he'll be fit for Dortmund at the weekend. Too soon, too soon. I know, I'm sorry. I make that joke every week, and it still makes me laugh though. The same can't be said for Edinson Cavani, who hasn't been part of the club's bubble long enough to be included. The longer he's not part of it, the better, for his sake, if you ask me. And Anthony Martial's petulance 2 weeks ago means he begins his 3-match ban this weekend. If United aren't changing their system, it could mean a run of games for Odion Ighalo. There's been a bit of a saga regards the fitness of Kieran Tierney over the international break. The left-back came into close contact with Stuart Armstrong on Scotland duty and has had to stay away from the squad for 2 weeks. But it's been today confirmed that he's got the green light for the weekend. So Arsenal fans, you should be buzzing about that one. Lucas Digne limped off for France during the week just after supplying Kylian Mbappe with a beautiful assist. If you've not seen it, it's a great little one of them across the box. It doesn't seem to be too serious though, and he has since tweeted this. I mean, that basically means he's fit, right? Arguably more important news is the return of Allen in the middle of the park. He's fit and ready to do battle in the Merseyside derby. Who do you reckon will win that one? Red or blue? Let us know in the comments. Fast becoming a fantasy football favourite is Tariq Lamptey. He came off early against Everton 2 weeks ago, but the wide man looks like he'll be back for the Glen Murray derby. I mean, what else is it known for? With 3 assists in 4 games, you need to give this lad serious consideration. And finally, Theo Walcott looks set to make his Southampton debut in game week 5. Well, his second debut. It was one of the more questionable signings of the summer, but with Saints missing Djenepo and Armstrong, it's almost certain he'll start. Is there any differential value in that one, do you think? Let us know. Now we've looked at all the new injuries, let's have a look at those who are currently out and whether there's any chance of them returning soon. Before we go anywhere, it's worth doing a little bit of research into those who featured heavily and those who didn't during the international break. For instance, Salah, Aubameyang, Mane, Son, Bale, Vardy, and plenty more all had the international break off. But let's take James Rodriguez for instance. He started 2 World Cup qualifiers in South America, including a game in Chile on Tuesday night. Kai Havertz played a part in all 3 of Germany's games, starting 2 of them. Spurs fullbacks, Matt Doherty, Ben Davies, both had heavy involvement for their countries as well. So just take this as a little warning before you bring a player in this weekend. Do a little bit of research, it goes a long way. Right, let's talk Gareth Bale. Not many of you are picking Bale right now, and that's fair enough. It's hard to know how Jose is going to integrate him into the Spurs side, but one thing we do know is that he has trained fully for over 2 weeks now. In this Spurs side, with the way they're currently playing, Bale is going to be a points machine. Am I mad in thinking that Spurs actually have a chance of silverware this year? Don't be silly. Man City, the best striker in the league, could be back in game week 5. Sergio Aguero has been training for 2 weeks now. Despite being out for 4 months, some news outlets are suggesting he could feature against Arsenal. We are going to edge on the side of caution though and predict Sterling to be playing through the middle. Don't rule out Pep throwing in Aguero from the start though. The best midfielder in the league though, KDB, is a slight doubt. One man who definitely is back is Ilkay Gundogan. The German hasn't featured at all yet this season, but is back in training after his illness. Pedro Wada today said that Ryan Brewster was a breath of fresh air as he welcomed him into the United dressing room. From a fantasy football perspective, he's one of the cheapest players in the game and is set to play a lot of minutes this season. Get him in. The 23 million price tag and the fact that Sheffield United are the league's lowest goal scorers with just 1 makes us very confident he'll go straight in from the off against Fulham. Another player we're itching to see back starting games is James Maddison. He's recently overcome a long-term problem but missed their game 2 weeks ago. Rodgers confirmed it wasn't a big issue and the number 10 could be in line for a start this week, especially after they were embarrassed by West Ham. I know how they feel. If you're a fan of our Dream Team coach show, then you'll know this week is a Dream Team derby as Leeds take on Wolves. Come on, Wolves! From a Leeds perspective, they've got some big issues at the back. What a shame. Liam Cooper and Spanish international Llorente are both likely to miss out. It means a return to the back four that allowed Mo Salah to bag a hat-trick in game week 1. Jack Harrison will return though after being ineligible to face his parent club last time out. On to my boys. The only real point of contention is the left wing-back area. Duties there have so far been spread out between Marçal, Vinagre and Saïs. Well, with Vinagre off to Olympiacos and Saïs a pretty temporary solution, there is positive vibes that Marçal will come back for game week 5. You know what this section's all about by now. In honour of the man who received 125 yellow cards and 6 reds, we take a quick look at who's suspended ahead of the weekend. Just the one name this week, and I bet you can guess who it is. It's a man with more reds than goals. It's Anthony Martial. What a silly boy. Who should you be transferring in this week then? Christian Pulisic's return is going to be the real beginning of Chelsea's season. The American played his first minutes 2 weeks ago against Crystal Palace and has had 2 weeks of full training since, with no international commitments. He scored 4 and assisted 4 after the resumption last season and even notched in the FA Cup final. This is going to be a massive season for him. Harry Kane, I know this is obvious, but I'm saying you need to build your team around this lad from now on. He's on form and Spurs have a pretty good looking set of fixtures coming up. Big H has 9 goals in 11 starts against West Ham as well, and scored in both fixtures last season. Throw Bale into the mix and that is naughty. You absolutely need to get at least one of these front three going forwards. Neil Maupay. When you think of former Brentford strikers, you'd be forgiven for thinking about Ollie Watkins right now. But let's not forget about Neil Maupay, who scored 25 for the Bees 2 years ago and hit double figures in his debut Premier League season. The spicy Frenchman has 4 in 4 and their next couple of games are really winnable. Just have a look to my left and you'll see just that. Let's get some predicted lineups coming your way. These are the ultimate tools for picking your fantasy football sides for game week 5. Pause it, study it, make sure that you really take on board what we're going to show you now, because this is it. This is where you get all your starting 11s ahead of the week. That is all from us. Now please stay with me, don't disappear. Just before I leave you, I've got to remind you about our Dream Team Fantasy Football game. We've got a new and exciting subscription service for you this year called Dream Team Coach, and it's really going to help you out. It offers projected scores, fixture difficulty rating, projected price changes, and loads more if you are looking for that extra detail when picking your team. It's available really easily in the app, and there's a link in the description below. Right, let us know what you thought of the show in the comments. Tell all your mates about us, tell your nan about us, tell your granddad. We're working hard every week to give you the most informative video on the internet for fantasy football. And let us know what your teams are going to look like. Have you got any obscure picks? How's your season going so far? Okay, I'm off. All the best this weekend. I'll see you again next week.